The following material is presented by Alberta Employment Standards employees for educational purposes only and is not intended to be used as a source of legal advice.
The Alberta Employment Standards Code requires that the workday be no longer than 12 hours. A 12-hour workday means that an employee who starts work at 8 a.m. cannot work past 8 p.m. Exceptions to this are allowed in the event that an accident occurs, urgent work is necessary to a plant or equipment, or other unforeseeable or unpreventable circumstances occur. The code requires employers to give employees notice of when their work starts and ends. This can be done by posting schedules where employees can see them, or by any other reasonable method. Posted schedules should include all required work periods for each employee for the entire period covered by that schedule. During work shifts that are longer than 5 consecutive hours, an employee is entitled to at least one 30-minute break, except where it is unreasonable or impossible. Whether the break is paid or unpaid is at the employer's discretion. Note that if a break is unpaid, employees cannot be called upon to provide service during the unpaid time. If no break is taken, the employee is to be paid for the entire time worked. These 30 minutes can be taken in one consecutive period or may be provided as 2 15-minute or 3 10-minute breaks. Employers are not required to provide a rest period for shifts less than 5 hours in length. An employer must provide an employee with days of rest or days off work. Employees must receive at least 1 day of rest for each consecutive week worked. Note that after 24 consecutive days of work, employees must be provided with at least 4 consecutive days of rest. Hours of work refers to the period of time during which an employee works for an employer. This includes any time taken off with pay instead of receiving overtime pay as earnings. Any travel time that occurs while the employee is providing services or on shift is recorded as hours of work. An employer is not required to pay wages to an employee who is on call or standby or waiting to be called to work. Employees must be paid their regular wage for all hours worked while on call, regardless of the location where the work took place. This means that if an employee worked from home, they must be paid their full wage for the time they worked. If the employee is called away from home, the employee is entitled to at least 3 hours at the minimum wage for each call-out. There are exceptions to the rule where standby time would be considered work, such as when the employee is required to wear a uniform or monitor radio calls.